Wow. What a mess that was. I guess it was a faulty link or something. Let me just reset this up a little bit. Do one of those. Get back to this. I got this pulled up. College football. I had a faulty link on the other one. I don't know, it just wasn't working. All right, so guys, I've already put out my video. Wow, odds to make college football playoff. Florida State sitting minus 4,000. I think he's struggling a bit. Yeah, what a weird situation. Your top six is very simple. Volcano, what's up, man? Oh no, Texas will be in. No. The argument is not Texas is getting in guaranteed. Texas is in as the very likely 3 seed, in my opinion. I'm afraid if FSU makes it, I mean, these are some crazy odds, man. I like this plus 300 on FSU missing it. Yeah, I'm going with a nice little Michael Fassbender fit here. Well, dude, listen. Imagine Georgia makes it plus 1,600. I mean, Bama's like plus. These are terrible odds. How is Bama plus 128, but Florida State is minus 400? This is why sports books are so dumb. FSU is in. No way, man. No way. There's no way they can manage putting FSU in. There's no way anyone can stomach that. Dude, you already heard Reese Davis. I'll be honest, Reese Davis is a homer. Reese Davis is already trying to manipulate it so Alabama gets in. Michigan, Washington, Texas, Bama, FSU, Georgia, Ohio State. Yeah, Armchair is he's like the number one guru. He's a top guru, yeah. Bama doesn't deserve to get in. That's so arbitrary. Why doesn't Bama deserve to get in? They had one loss in week 2 to a really good team. They beat the number 1 team in the country. They won the SEC. Like I don't understand that. It's just people just say random stuff. Dude, okay, so this is the thing. You're saying FSU is 13-0. They're with this team, they're not 13-0. I would agree if FSU had Jordan Travis, even though I think with Jordan Travis, FSU is still not as good as Bama, I would agree FSU should be in. They're a completely different team without Jordan Travis. You're saying they're 13-0, but this is a different team. They're not the same team. You've got to have nuance into it. Well, I do think if they put FSU in, FSU would be number 3, not 4. Which would really screw Michigan if Michigan is the 1 seed. If you're Michigan, the best thing to happen would be this scenario. It would be keeping Texas putting Texas at 3 and having FSU at 4. If you're Michigan, but if FSU gets in because they're undefeated, they're going to be the 3 seed, I would guess. Why would Texas jump FSU with 1 loss? Yeah, Reese Davis was kind of being a little annoying bitch, honestly. He was trying to go for Alabama. It was a bit annoying. Yeah, FSU's schedule is not good either. That's the other problem. I mean, yeah, listen, I agree with McMurphy. This seems like the matchups to me. I mean, look at this. Michigan gets a 1v4 matchup in a pick'em game. Yeah, but Ohio State won their conference championship 59-0. FSU, did they even get 200 yards of offense? Oh no, they can take the injuries into account. Reese Davis just said that. That's why he's trying to argue that Alabama should be in. So going well, it means, listen, if you lose your starting quarterback, it's going to change things. It means something, but there has to be nuance involved. That's why there's a committee. Just going to listen to, all right, man, that's fine. Wham. There's a altcoin called Wham. It's a gaming altcoin. It's a little funny. It's a bigger coin in the space. No, it's a DGen token. You have Washington. Well, Washington's going to be facing Texas very likely. I'm doing Eddie. Which one is it, Eddie or Nick? I'm doing all right, man. Dude, you got it. Dude. How delusional is this? FSU barely got 200 yards of offense, man. FSU is just not good enough without Jordan Travis, and it sucks for them. It's an unfortunate situation. Michigan, Washington, Alabama at 3. They're not going to put Alabama in front of Texas, dude. Dude, I don't even know if FSU's defense is elite. Look at who they faced. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can say week 1, you know, they shut down Daniels. If a win's a win, why even have the committee? There's no nuance in saying that. Just doesn't make any sense. I think Michigan would rather want to play Texas in the Rose. Oh, yeah. No, Michigan wants to face FSU number 1, then Texas, then Alabama. I'm not watching FSU. Oh, dude, no one will. It's a gimmick. We already can see what's going on here if FSU gets in. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if they have weeks to prepare. They're going to get crushed. Georgia is not making it, man. You got to give up that. Well, I mean, the thing with Michigan is, dude, if they get FSU, that's a guaranteed win for them. I mean, nothing's guaranteed in college football, but you're really telling me that FSU... I do think Washington is kind of a fraud, but I still think Washington would beat FSU. I guess that might be the matchup if they put FSU at 3. You're right. And then Texas would be 4. Who makes the... Okay, so this is good here, man. It's going to be Liberty. It'll be Liberty who makes it, possibly against Penn State. I've seen Ohio State possibly matched up in the Fiesta Bowl with Oregon. Here they're facing Oklahoma. Maybe they face Oklahoma. Michigan, Washington, FSU, Texas. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Whoever is 5 gets right to whoever. Yeah, they need to expand the playoff for sure. I mean, it's obvious they need to expand it. We're getting different teams in the playoff. Yeah. Yeah, with Texas making it, I guess they're a different team. Washington hasn't been in it in a while. FSU barely beat Louisville. Louisville is horrible too, man. I mean, yeah, Penn State, that would be a rough draw for Penn State against Liberty. Alabama had their chance against Texas and they blew it. Well, I mean, Texas had their chance against Oklahoma and they blew it, but they're still making it. See how dumb that is? It's just so arbitrary. That's why we need to expand the playoff. Like, Ohio State and Georgia lose one game to top 5 teams and they're out. It's just stupid. Alabama deserves to be in the playoffs because you really can't beat Georgia. Yeah, I know. They beat Georgia. Georgia was ranked number 1. Texas, I know, that's what I was saying. Texas lost to Oklahoma. Like, this idea of losing one game knocks you out, then why is Texas in? It's just all arbitrary. It's ridiculous. People just, there's no critical thinking. You're right, Alabama did need a prayer to win, but after that, they beat the number 1 team in the country that hasn't lost in 3 years. Right? So you have to also factor that in. Alabama barely beat Auburn. FSU barely beat Boston College with Travis. Like, are we really gonna we're gonna have this argument now? You're just not. We can go back and forth on this. Yeah, the ACC is terrible. And look at this. See, ESPN is definitely going to push for Alabama. They're going to start comparing strength of schedule. They're gonna start comparing. Texas beat Bama. Yeah, Texas is in. Guaranteed Texas is in. Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State's probably one of the 4 best teams, but they're not going to get in. We know Georgia's one of the 4 best teams, but they're not going to get in. FSU crushed LSU. Yeah, in week 1 with Travis. It's just completely different now. I mean, I don't think I don't think Kyle McCord's that bad, man. He's certainly not as good as the other Ohio State quarterbacks, though. But Ohio State still is ridiculously talented. What do you think of North Carolina and how they fell to 8-4? Well, I thought North Carolina was a fraud, and I was kind of right, honestly. 8-4 is not that good, but listen, they just don't have the rankings come out at 12-15. I think it's kind of weird. Don't play the regular season. Give the crybabies what they want. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You think Texas is definitely in? Oh, yeah. So you think they're going to jump Alabama over Texas after leaving Texas in front of Alabama throughout the entire year? FSU would oh my God. Ohio State would beat Florida State by 30. You are delusional. Delusional. Didn't TCU beat Michigan? Well, yeah, then TCU produced the worst college national championship we've seen in recent memory. So there's that. Texas is 3. I agree. Texas is at 3. I don't see how they would move Alabama. I know Alabama beats Georgia. Maybe that changes things a little bit, but there's no way they would move Texas out of it after all of this, especially after Texas blew out Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma State is not very good. The list is out. Where did it get leaked somewhere? I mean, Liberty went undefeated with a very weak schedule, you know. There was a scenario where Liberty wouldn't have been in a New Year's Six if Tulane would have won. Guys, these FSU people, man, I can't do it. I can't. If FSU is 3-0 all time, oh my God, that means so much. They beat them in 1985. Holy crap. I got 4 playoff picks: Michigan, Texas, Washington, Bama. Yeah, that's what I would expect. We'll see what ends up happening though. The problem with FSU. Oh, they don't even have a person. Yeah, they don't even have a person at Ohio State. That tells you that they're gone. Well, the logic, Butler, the logic is you have to have nuance, okay? When a team loses their starting quarterback, they're not immediately out. You watch how they play. Like in 2014, Ohio State with Cardale Jones scores 59 points. And then you watch this FSU team with their second string against Florida and their third string. And, like, what are we doing here? It's just, you have to use nuance. You know, they're complete. Well, listen, if you're an FSU fan, I can understand it. I can understand wanting FSU to be in. And it is kind of ridiculous that you would go undefeated and get left out, yes. That's why we need to expand the playoff. Michigan, Washington, Texas, Bama. I'm seeing a lot of that. Dude. You gotta stop. There is no way on earth FSU would beat Ohio State. No way. Michigan, Washington, Texas, FSU, Georgia, Ohio State. Why would Georgia be in front of Alabama? What sense is that? Yeah, I mean, but that's just the reality of it. Michigan, Washington, Florida State, Texas. I don't think that's going to be it. Michigan, Washington, Texas, Bama. That's the exact rankings I think it's going to be. David, yeah, that's the exact rankings. Emergency 16 playoff. Yeah, right. Yeah, Georgia has no way of getting in. Georgia has no way of getting in. OSU, well, I don't think OSU would win 45-17. Let's not get carried away. Do you think the 12-team format for next year? Oh, I like the 12-team format. I would have been fine with 8 though. 12 or 8 is fine to me, but it needs to be expanded, obviously. Yeah, they really should just expand it this year, but obviously it's already been set. It's already been set. Michigan versus Bama, Washington versus Texas. Florida State is out. Did it leak? Should be Michigan, Washington, FSU, Texas. Why is Washington 2? Because Washington has terrible analytics. They were involved in way too many close games to be number 1. Way too many. Why would you put Georgia in? Alabama beat Georgia? What logic is that? You're saying if you put Alabama in, then don't you have to put Georgia in? Alabama has a better resume than Georgia. They're a conference champion. They beat Georgia head-to-head. But listen, I think Georgia is one of the 4 best teams, but they're just not going to get in. It's just how this 4-team works, unfortunately. So FSU is out because Travis got injured. Not technically. FSU is out in part because Travis got injured, but also because the backups came in and looked terrible. It's really a combination of those two things. Let's have some nuance. Let's think this through. We can give FSU a chance with the backups because they are undefeated to prove themselves. But when you go out and you score 16 points against Louisville and you barely beat Florida, it's an issue. I wonder what the spread, like this is the other problem. Who would FSU be facing? Man, they only have Georgia minus 12 against FSU in the Orange Bowl. Would you take Michigan or the field for a natty? I would take the field, yeah. Michigan's going to have a brutal schedule if they have to face Alabama in round 1. TCU, Michigan State, Ohio State. I mean, that's just the way it works. Dude, you're comparing completely different things. You're talking about different years. It doesn't matter what happened in other years. We're talking about these teams this year. You're shifting the argument to different years. That doesn't make any sense. I don't think Ohio State's going to face Georgia now. Ohio State might face Actually, I don't think Ole Miss is going to make it either. All right, guys, so these are some bowl games. Iowa has to go to the Citrus Bowl, I guess, because they're the Big Ten West champion. They would face Ole Miss and be 13-point underdogs. Tennessee and Wisconsin. Toledo and... I like UNLV. I think UNLV would win that game. You don't know Georgia could get in. No, it's just not going to happen. Bama versus Michigan. Washington versus FSU. You're going to the Orange Bowl. Yeah, that would be a good Orange Bowl. Well, I mean, Florida State's dealing with all those injuries. I don't know. Sadly, it is going to be Michigan, Washington, Texas, FSU. Guys, this is the one year where it's actually debatable. This will actually be interesting. Alabama also has a good resume. Oh, Alabama does have a very good resume. But you know ESPN is going to show the strength of schedule. The strength of schedule is crazy when you compare Alabama and FSU. Bama is at like 6. I think FSU is like let me see if I could find this. Not only with the FPI, strength of schedule, Bama 5th, FSU 55. That's an issue. Game control 7 versus 14. FPI 5 versus 11, although I guess FPI doesn't matter much. Ohio State is second in FPI. Bama deserves 4 more than FSU, but FSU will get it. I don't think FSU's getting in, man. But I mean, if you look at the betting, that is surprising. FSU is minus 440 to make it. Alabama's even. So the odds are really strange. Would have been easier with just 2 teams? No way, man. 2 teams is even worse. 2 teams is just... It's just like... Because then you got a third team that possibly is undefeated, and because then FSU gets left out. It's just... No. Yeah, they're showing the comparison right now. They're showing the resume. Fiesta, Oregon, Missouri, Cotton Bowl, Georgia. Oh, I don't think Georgia cannot face Ohio State, I don't think. Oh, yeah, maybe they can in the Cotton. Peach Bowl, Alabama, Penn State. Orange Bowl, Louisville, SMU. Those are some brutal matchups, man. Washington, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State. Dude, hell would freeze over. Head-to-head, Alabama murders FSU. Yeah. Well, two-team playoff is just a BCS. Missouri is better than Ole Miss. It's very close. It's splitting hairs. I think Missouri, they're a fun little program. Maybe they should get in. It would be unreasonable for Penn State not to make it. Are you talking about it in New Year 6? Yeah, I think Penn State should get in a New Year 6. Yeah, the ACC is terrible. That's why I think they're going to get left out. Georgia, Ohio State would be an awesome game. Yeah, you'd have players sitting out, though. That's the problem. Yeah, the 12-team playoff. Why is the most deserving even consideration? I kind of agree with you. I think it's, the reason most deserving is in there is because you don't want to just reward SEC teams. But if you're talking about the 4 best teams, 2 of them are not even going to get in. Georgia and Ohio State. Bama ruined their chance. Yeah, but what about Texas ruining their chance by losing to Oklahoma? It's just so ridiculous. You think we see a trailer for the new college football playoff game? Or college football NCAA game? I don't know when that's going to come out. Pick the Army-Navy game. Dude, I have no clue. What's the spread on that game even? All right, they're going to be revealing them right now. If Bama doesn't get in, Texas will win the Natty. 2 best teams don't even make it. Well, who do you think the 2 best teams are? Georgia and Ohio State? I wouldn't call Ohio State one of the 2 best teams, brother. I think they're I think the 4 best teams, and people are going to say this is SEC Big Ten bias. The 4 best teams, if you really want to know, it's Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia. Those are the 4 best teams in college football. Analytically, the 4 best teams. They're just the 4 best teams when you combine analytics, roster, and everything. Utah in the Holiday Bowl. Isn't the Holiday Bowl always on at it's always on really late? Do you think they would let both SEC teams in? No, they're not going to do that, man. Georgia is out. Georgia is gone. They're not going to let both SEC teams in. Michigan. Oh, so you're leaving out Washington? Highlander, you're leaving out Washington. They're undefeated. Is Texas not one of the 4 best teams? Dude, okay, so you need to go look at Texas's schedule. They were a 4th down spot away from losing to Houston. Could you imagine if Ohio State had almost lost to Houston? We hold teams to different standards. That's what I'll say about that. Like, Texas probably should have lost to Kansas State with their backup. But just teams get held to different standards. All right, here it is. Here, you know what? They're probably just going to do the top 4 and then they'll do the rest. Yeah, normally how they do it is they'll do the top 4. They'll take like a 30-minute break and then they'll reveal the rest. You're leaving out an undefeated FSU. Yes. Texas is in. I agree. Texas is in. Would Washington be number 1 if their wins weren't close? I mean, they would have a better resume than Michigan. If they were dominant, they would be number 1. I don't see why not. They have a better, even with Michigan's win over Ohio State, Michigan, they didn't really add to their resume against Iowa. I'm not moved by beating Iowa. They have such a horrible offense. Washington beat Oregon twice. But they have a lot of close games against trash opponents. Alabama needed 4th and 31. No, I agree with you, but then they came back and beat the number 1 team in college football who hadn't lost in 2 years. So I understand what you're saying, but it's like FSU beats Boston College by 2 points. I mean, we can do this. We can do this all day. Ohio State would kill Houston. I know, but it's like, that's like the comparison you make with these teams. Just teams get held to different standards. Like, it would be, It would be DEFCON 5 if Ohio State almost lost to Houston. But no one remembers with Texas. Oregon blew out teams that Washington... I know, that's an interesting thing. That's why I thought Oregon was going to win that rematch game. Who has a better defense, LSU or USC? I think LSU probably does. It's close, though. Does it really take... Oh, no, they already have the teams. Did they leak it already? Just received major intel from a high source within the media. Alabama is in at 3. Wow, what a bombshell that is. FSU can't be left out. Well, I think unfortunately they're going to be left out, man. There's going to be a lot of people angry. Yeah, when you add an injury, I agree, Elijah. When you add an injury, they're going to be out. I mean, listen, Ohio State is different this year because they have a worse quarterback with McCord. McCord's just kind of average. That's the problem for Ohio State. You think Ohio State will get to the Fiesta? I mean, it's possible. It's possible they get to the Fiesta and face Oregon. I've seen that predicted. How fast does FSU leave? Well, it's not even the ACC. It's an injury. The reason FSU would get left out is because of an injury. It doesn't have a ton to do with the ACC. I mean, part of the reason they were able to even be undefeated is because of how weak the ACC is facing a terrible Louisville team. Brother, they haven't announced it. At least, maybe it got leaked. I don't know. But they haven't announced it on TV. I mean, I'll react to it when they announce it. Alabama nearly lost to South Florida. Yeah, they weren't even playing Jalen Milroe in week 3. I mean, the arguments at a certain point, we just got to stop. FSU is not one of the 4 best teams. Well, I mean, yeah, but it comes down to best versus most deserving. People thought Oregon was going to boat race Washington until the game was actually played. That's why you... Well, I mean, I agree with that, and we saw what FSU was with a backup quarterback. FSU needs a stronger schedule if they want to get in, especially with a backup QB. I'm debating these FSU people. I would just not even debate them. I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of a team that's undefeated that might get left out, they're going to be very angry. You're just going to have to let them... Just leave them alone. FSU is like TCU. No, I think FSU with their backup quarterback is worse. At least TCU had a healthy team. Penn State and Liberty, dude, Penn State is... They kind of deserve it, honestly. Thoughts on putting Penn State in the playoffs or a New Year's 6 at least? Those are the rumors. I heard there were rumors that was going to happen. I think it's going to be Penn State versus Ohio State, Battle of Ohio. Oregon, Missouri, great game. I doubt it. I mean, maybe, if Bo Nix plays. Yeah, Liberty should be the 4 seed. Yeah, no chance 2 SEC teams are making it. It's not going to happen. They're going to keep Georgia out for sure. ESPN really going to rig this for Bama? That's an NPC comment, man. Come on. We're not going to sit here and do... they're rigging it. It's just like when people say the NFL is scripted. Come on, guys. Like... Alright, here it is. If you search the NCAA rankings, they are updated. Well, is that the AP poll? It's probably... I doubt they're going to leak it, dude, honestly. That would surprise me. They would lose a lot of viewers. Will I start doing college basketball? Dude, I don't know. College basketball is such a crapshoot. Did you see all those teams that lost? Liberty blew out most teams. Does Liberty have a ranked win? I don't think they do. FSU can't score. Yeah, I agree. All right, they are unveiling it. Here, I'll announce it. So it's blank right now. I would imagine Michigan is going to be at 1. We're still waiting. Michigan is at 1. All right, you guys beat me a little bit there. You guys are a little bit ahead of me. I can't watch the chat right now. Michigan at 1, Washington at 2. Washington at 2. You can do it. Come on. They're trying to create suspense. Dude, they didn't even... Yeah, they're milking it now. They're showing Harbaugh. They're showing... Dude, if you're Michigan, man, listen, you want to face FSU. You want to face SMU. Announce it for us. Yes, I'll announce it. There's people ahead of me, though. Michigan is the 1 seed. I'm expecting Washington to be 2. Let's move it along. Let's move it along. Washington is 2. Michigan 1, Washington 2. I'm expecting Texas to be 3. I'm expecting Texas to be 3. But listen, people are saying maybe Texas is lower. Maybe FSU is 3. So we will see. I'm not going to look at the chat because they're going to spoil it. Their website is down because they leaked it. Michigan won't win a playoff game. They will if they face FSU. I mean, if they face Alabama, it's a tough draw. They could still beat Alabama, but it's going to be tough. I would really like them to just release the top 25 so I can react to it, but I don't think they will. Can we get number 3 now? Come on. We're expecting Texas at number 3. We're expecting... Texas is number 3. There it is. Guys, I got it right perfectly. I got it. I win. No, Action Network is right with these top 4. The Action Network was right. Texas is number 3. That means Bama's 4. Guys, I called it. I don't want to take a victory lap. Alabama, it looks like is in. Texas versus... This is the matchup right here. Texas versus Washington. And then Michigan versus Bama. Dude, FSU already dropped down. It's not going to be Georgia. You got to stop. Ronald Acuna. Has to be Bama. Ohio State, Oklahoma. That would be a good game. I'm interested to... All right, here it is. Who's number 4? This is it. Number 4... FSU versus Alabama. Oh my God, and they don't even do it. And they're bringing Georgia into the equation now. You might as well bring Ohio State in front of Georgia. Ohio State has a better resume than Georgia. You did call the Miami of Ohio game. No, I actually said Toledo was going to win that game. I thought I saw a stat, the ACC won more times against the SEC. That doesn't matter, my friend. It's all arbitrary. It's the beginning of the season. It's like... Mississippi State losing to someone. It's just a meaningless stat. All right, here it is. Who's the number 4 team? Michigan. Does Michigan get screwed? Does Michigan get screwed? Come on. Just get on with it for the love of God. The number 4 team. Texas is at number 3. They moved up 4 spots. Oh my God. I had it on mute. I thought they were... I had it on mute. I thought they were revealing number 4. I saw Georgia come up, and I was like, they put Georgia at 4. So now they're doing the thing where they're revealing the different areas. So Ohio State's guaranteed to be 7. Ohio State is guaranteed to be 7 then. 4 versus 5, Alabama, FSU. That was a weird little scenario. I thought Georgia for a second was number 4. And Alabama's number 4. So I got it completely right. I'm not going to take a victory lap. I'm not going to take a victory lap, guys. That's a tough draw for Michigan. Oh, that's a tough draw for Michigan. Guys, it's not rigged. Alabama's just better. I'm sorry. You're shocked FSU was left out. Yeah. It's tough, man. FSU got screwed. Listen. This is why we need a 12-team playoff. This is not robbery at all. We cope. Listen, we need a 12-team playoff. But let's not spam it a little bit there, man. How is Texas favored? Oh, it's, dude, because Washington has been a fraud all year. Washington's been a fraud all year. I still think Oregon is better than Washington. They screwed Michigan. Yeah, they screwed Michigan a little bit there. It looks like Michigan can still win, but it's a tough game. ESPN made the decision, dude. You're like you're an NPC. No, I feel bad for FSU now. I do. I mean, I said they shouldn't get in, but now it's like it's just you did have decent intel, but let's not take a victory lap. You had FSU. You had Alabama at number 3. You had Alabama in a pure robbery. No, it's not. But if you're an Ohio State fan, why would you want FSU to face Michigan? I don't understand that. They got it right. I agree they got it right. Yeah, David, you came at me and you said the exact same thing I said. You are far too harsh on Washington. It's just analytics, my friend. It's nothing personal. Texas versus Washington, yep. Ryan Day is not getting fired, bro. They got to have Ohio State at 7. Where is Iowa? Probably at like 23. They'll probably drop back pretty significantly. So this is the actual playoff here, guys. It's not. It's the real thing. Michigan's gonna have to get Connor Stallions on line 1. They're gonna have to get Connor Stallions rehired into the program immediately. Get Connor Stallions back ASAP. This is a code red. Literally, against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Get him in a helicopter above the Alabama practice facility. Maybe a little drone strike, stealth mission. Bama versus Texas, Natty, rematch. Oklahoma, New Year 6, it's possible. Oklahoma is very... Wait, doesn't Oklahoma have to be in a New Year 6? Because the Big 12 has a... Yeah, I think they have to be in a New Year 6, if I have that right. On ESPN, FSU is 4. It's just not... It's not correct. Michigan about to be 0-7 in bowls. Never been happier about SEC bias. But it's not even SEC bias, my friend. It's just, it's a problem with an injury. Does FSU bowl? But Brendan, think about this. If FSU wasn't in the ACC, would they be undefeated? I would say absolutely not. So you can blame the ACC all you want, but the only reason FSU is undefeated is because they're in a bad conference. But you see how I did a little interstellar thing there? Brother, we don't need to spam the Roll Tide. We're all right? Yeah, we're not going to do this, man. What is it? FSU is out, Chandler. FSU is, they're going to the Orange Bowl. Bama 60-1 to win the Natty after. That's a crazy bet, man. That's a crazy bet. You cannot put Bama. Well, dude, so this is the thing. It's always been a combination of best and most deserving. It's always been a combination. People make the mistake of saying it's either best or most deserving. It's always a combination of the two. Because if it was just best, Georgia would be in, Ohio State would be in, but it's a combination of the two. Oregon versus Ohio State in the Fiesta. Well, they haven't released it yet. Got to feel bad for those FSU kids. It's terrible. This is why we need a 12-team playoff. There is no circumstance where a team that's undefeated in a Power 5 conference should be left out unless you have a playoff scenario like this. Do we know who... These are the matchups, man. This is the official matchup. It's Michigan, Alabama, Washington, Texas. So FSU got left out. Georgia got left out. Texas made it. You're putting your whole life savings on Bama beating Michigan. I mean, it's a pick 'em right now. But, I mean, I think, yeah, Michigan does not match up well against Alabama. But Alabama's a streaky team. But it is tough because now they got a month to prepare with Saban. You got $100 on Washington plus 4,000 at the beginning of the season. What could you cash that out? What's the point of all these other bowl games? It's just there's not much of a point anymore. It's just bragging rights. Yeah, FSU deserved it, but Alabama's better, and they went with better. I predicted FSU in the playoff. Oh, maybe I should have been rooting for them. Yeah, all the bowl games are exhibitions, man. They're just exhibitions. That's why they're expanding the playoff. See, all these other bowl games, like these are big bowl games, but they're bragging rights. So all the top players sit out, and they're comparing the teams right now. Florida State does have a better strength of record than Alabama. The argument that the committee is using, I guarantee, is the injury. That's the argument they're doing. Normally, with strength of record, you always choose the better team, unless it's a scenario like this. Alabama 4-1 against top 25 teams. Strength of schedule is 5th. FSU's strength of schedule is 55th. Georgia has a great argument. Absolutely, they do. What do you think the line will be in the FSU-Georgia game? I mean, they're saying it's minus 12 right now. Depends on the opt-outs, though. I mean, does Keon Coleman play? Harbaugh bowl prep is notorious. Yeah, I know. They have not done well. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw that. No, but Iowa did score 3 points. I don't know. I think it was like early in the second half. So they didn't get shut out. Yeah, 12-team playoff would be great. Can you imagine there's still people arguing against the 12-team playoff? It's lunacy. If not for the reason that all these other bowl games are meaningless. Because players sit them out. Players treat these other bowl games meaningless because they sit out. I can't see Ohio State in the Cotton. Well, they're not making the orange. The orange will not be Ohio State. It's going to be Georgia versus FSU. Pretty much guaranteed. Because it's the highest ranked either SEC or Big Ten team. And Georgia's ranked higher than Ohio State. That doesn't make the playoff. And then it's the top ranked ACC team that doesn't make it. So Ohio State cannot be in the Orange Bowl. It's impossible now. Do we know which game Iowa will play in? They'll very likely be in the Citrus unless somehow Penn State doesn't make a New Year's 6. But I think Penn State will make a New Year's 6. Then if Iowa isn't in the Citrus, they'll be in the Outback. Yeah, Marvin Harrison's going to opt out, I'm sure. It's annoying, man. Bama is better, but FSU deserved it. Yeah, it's better versus most deserved. That's what it comes down to. Why was James Madison not in the Sun Belt Championship? Because they just joined the league. That's why. You want to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl because the winner... Yeah, I did see that. An edible giant Pop-Tart. Pretty interesting, right? We need a Super Bowl stadium in Hawaii. Impossible. There's no way they would build a stadium big enough in Hawaii for a Super Bowl. Big Ten always... Oh, come on. The Big Ten, absolutely they deserve a spot. But, I mean, the West is horrible. I agree. The Big Ten West is terrible. Michigan sitting minus 2.5 over Bama. Is that the opening line? Ohio State should decline. They're not going to decline, dude. If they get into a New Year's 6 bowl, they're not going to decline. What bowl will Notre Dame play in? That's a good question, my friend. Pop-Tarts Bowl. It's not official, but it looks like possibly the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Georgia will destroy FSU. I mean, yeah, but it's a meaningless game. Well, I mean, yeah, it's always a balance between best versus most deserving, you know. But you can make an argument that Alabama is more deserving. Alabama had a much tougher schedule and a better win than FSU. Harder schedule by about 40 spots and a way better win. FanDuel opening line of that game is 2.5. I hope Michigan beats Bama. It'll be an interesting game. You think Michigan will beat Bama by 3 or 7? You think Texas will beat Washington by 17-21? Yeah, those will be interesting games to predict for sure. Does SMU play in a bowl game or not? Yeah, SMU will be in a pretty good bowl game. Their starting quarterback is out, unfortunately. Which bowl is Iowa playing in? Probably the Citrus or the Outback. But guys, you have to understand, it takes a while for all of this to come out. All of the bowl games will probably come out during, unfortunately they always do this, during the NFL games. Michigan did shut out Iowa. Yeah, but it wasn't impressive. Michigan had like 200 yards of offense. Iowa's just so bad. Bama beats Michigan 38-31. Yeah, man, Michigan, it's hard for me to pick Michigan right now based on some of their offensive performances. FSU needs to riot. Yeah, I'd be pissed off if I was FSU. Texas versus Bama, national title. Yeah, it's certainly possible. Where is Georgia playing? Georgia is playing very likely in the Orange Bowl. Well, I think they're guaranteed to play in the Orange Bowl against FSU. Who will Ole Miss play? Ole Miss is probably out of the New Year's Six conversation unless they get in over Missouri. They could maybe face Ohio State in a New Year's Six game, but they're probably facing... Ole Miss is probably facing like an Iowa-type team in the Outback. Iowa State plays Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. I like Iowa State, honestly. Iowa is too stuck on old school. Iowa, I mean, it's not even, at this point with Iowa, it's not even old school. They have a legitimate, like, FCS level offense, you know? You were right, my apologies. Oh, there's no reason to say you're sorry. It's just, I kind of could see where the committee was going with it. I mean, if you're an FSU fan, absolutely you should be pissed off. It's ridiculous that we're even doing this, and people still will argue for a 4-team playoff with an undefeated team that didn't lose getting left out. And Liberty would be in the 12-team playoff. They'd get crushed, but they'd be in it. Michigan is lucky Iowa has no offense. Yeah, I know. Well, Michigan got that punt return, the punt return at the end of the first quarter, and that ended that game. Walls, what's up, brother? Do you think Oklahoma goes to the Fiesta? I don't know the tie-ins with the Fiesta, honestly. Oklahoma might go to the Cotton Bowl. I mean, I would really like to see them release the rest of these rankings. Think about how dumb this is. This is why college football is always just behind. Why not just release all the bowl matchups right now, but instead they're going to wait for the NFL games to kick off and everyone's just going to leave and no one's going to care? How do you release all the games during the NFL? It just doesn't make any sense. No one's going to watch. I know, I saw Michigan's 2.5-point favorites. Do you know what the spread is on the other game? Is it Texas -2 against Washington? Yeah, 6-team emergency playoff. It's not possible. Washington is 4.5-point underdogs. Maybe a little bit high, but I mean, it's negligible. Well, the playoffs are changing to 12 teams. Where will LSU play? LSU will be in a good bowl. I don't think they'll make a New Year's. Yeah, they're not going to make a New Year's Six. LSU will be in, I mean, this would actually be a bad matchup versus NC State in the Gator Bowl. Maybe LSU faces Notre Dame. I saw that possibly happening as well. Yeah, Texas sitting 4.5. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Washington is a analytically flawed team. The problem with Washington is like they're still worse than Oregon. That's the problem. Even though Oregon already lost to them twice. Back in the BCS era, the rankings and bowl games were announced at night. Well, they really should do this differently, It's just, it's always, pretty soon they will change it into March Madness. Yeah, they're gonna have to change it. No, these are not. These are just bowl predictions. They will not release the bowl. The actual bowls will start trickling out probably around 1:30 or 2. Unfortunately, that's just so when the NFL games are going on. Now there's I think Bama will be yeah, that'll be a good game. Bama, Michigan. Dude, that's a great matchup, dude. Bama, Michigan. Washington has to go to Louisiana. Practically a home game for Texas. Yeah, I think Washington's going to get thumped a little bit, honestly. Analytically, Washington may be bad. Yeah, they have a good coach. You sure that Oregon is still better than Washington? Absolutely. No, but listen, if I think Oregon is still better than Washington for sure. Just because they lost a few games arbitrary, you have to look at the full picture. Alex, what's up, brother? You want some Pop-Tarts? Pop-Tarts are good, man. They are. I haven't had Pop-Tarts in years. Washington has a clutch gene. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that from a lot of teams. They have a clutch gene until they don't anymore. You know, it's like... I mean, it'll probably be a good game. Washington. I mean, I don't think Texas is a superpower team or anything. As an OSU fan, you can't root for anyone in that Rose Bowl. Oh, dude, if you're an actual Ohio State fan, you're rooting for Alabama, brother. Come on, let's not sugarcoat it here. I'm a Ducks fan, and even I know that Washington. Yeah, I mean, Washington won one game. By that logic, we are better than Michigan. No, I don't think Ohio State's better than Michigan. I mean, analytically, it'll say Michigan's better than Ohio State, too. So the analytics will back me up on that. But Ohio State and Michigan are very close. Ducks lost 3 times to Washington. They lost 2 times, brother. How is Oregon better? Well, dude, these are single game samples, brother. They're single game samples. See, we have to evolve our thinking into taking everything into consideration. It's not just a 1 or a 2 game sample. Who is the better overall starting roster, FSU or Bama? What do you mean? Well, Alabama has like the second most talented team in all of college football. On pure talent? Because Georgia's number 1, Alabama's number 2. Ohio State's number 3. FSU is probably like 5 or 6. Is it true that you haven't eaten out in years? I mean, it was kind of just an exaggeration, man. I mean, I recently, you know, I've had a few like Arby's and stuff like that sometimes, but I mean, it's just I haven't sat down in a while at a place, you know? Alabama has a better roster. Oregon can't tackle. Yeah, Oregon has a defensive problem for sure. Do you think Michigan continues their losing streak? I don't know. I'll have to look at the analytics. Do you think Ohio State is still a top 4 team? Just my opinion, I think they're probably the 4th best team in college football right now. But I would have Michigan in front of them. I would have Georgia in front of them. I would have Alabama in front of them. SMU is better than Liberty. Yeah, the problem, SMU lost their starting quarterback to injury. That's probably why they're not going to make it. These are not official. Guys, the official bowl games will come out at around 1:30 or 2 probably. Michigan is slightly better than Ohio State. I agree. It's very close. It's a thin margin. I think I would take Michigan. They've got more experience. They've got a slightly better quarterback. If Bama already made it, man. Michigan is the media's darling. I don't know if I would say that. They got a lot of shit for the cheating stuff. FSU versus Georgia. Well, then it is official. FSU versus Georgia. Yeah, but that game was already... We knew that was going to be the matchup because it has to be the best... It has to be the best ACC team that doesn't make the playoff versus the best Big Ten or SEC team. So Georgia, FSU. So Alabama was slated in because they are TV pop. No. That's not why they got in. Yeah, I agree. I think especially this year for Ohio State, it's just a down year in terms of their quarterback. SMU's freshman QB did pretty good against Tulane. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. He did okay, but still, losing your starter is tough. Michigan is Colin Cowherd. Well, Colin Cowherd is a Fox shill. Colin Cowherd is owned by Fox, and Fox obviously has an agenda to push with Michigan. They have the rights to all the big Michigan games. So obviously, he's just going to shill Michigan. Sad for Tulane. I mean, listen, they lost to a backup quarterback. It is what it is. They had I wouldn't say easy win against SMU, but they should have won that game probably. Thank God FSU didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. Oh, the parlay, Alex. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, you only bet $25 or whatever. It's not a big deal. Early prediction for who makes the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think it'll be the Cowboys versus, I think the Bills end up making it and going, honestly. SMU would still beat Liberty. Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I mean, SMU also has 2 losses. Listen, I was all for SMU making it as a 2-loss team. I like SMU, but the problem is with their backup, it's going to be an issue. That's why they're probably just going to say, "Oh, Liberty deserves it," even though Liberty's schedule is terrible. Alabama is not better than Georgia. They're very close, but honestly, I agree with you. I do think Georgia's the better team. In a 1-game sample, though, that's what happens. What college football programs are most popular for TV ratings? Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, probably Michigan. Number 3, maybe Texas or Alabama. Georgia's probably in the top 5 or 6. Notre Dame is probably 4 or 5. You think it's going to be interesting next year with most of the Pac-12 teams? Oh, it'll be crazy next year. It'll be a complete mosh pit. Nobody will know what's going on next year. Would Missouri make a New Year's 6 bowl game? I think they are going to make one, yes. It hasn't been announced yet, though. SMU would have been a real threat if they never got that death penalty. Yeah, they're kind of coming back. They're back into a Power 4 conference. Robert, I appreciate it. Ohio State versus Texas. In what? It's not possible. Auburn should have beat Alabama. I think Michigan would have a chance if Saban didn't get a month to plan. Yeah, that's a really good point. Alabama getting a month to plan is a lot different. Do you think Washington would thrive in the SEC? No, I don't. What teams are on fall-off alert? I'm going to do a video on that, man. I'll do a video this week on teams that are trending down. It's hard to predict right now with the portal, though. But I think Washington is a team that's trending down, especially going to the Big Ten. It's going to be very hard for them, losing Penix, losing those receivers. That's a team right off the top of my head. I know Penn State possibly plays Liberty. That'll be a tough game for them. You want me to give you a shout out? Bo Knows Travel. What's going on, man? Alabama had a week to plan for Georgia. I mean, yeah. But they also had a week to plan for Auburn, and they should have lost to them. So, do you think that Colorado's going to do good in the Big 12? I don't know what Colorado's going to do, honestly, man. They just dropped Georgia down to 6. Yeah, well, look at what they did to Ohio State. With Ohio State, it's even worse. Ohio State played on the road. And Ohio State, actually, you could make an argument that Georgia actually has a better resume than Ohio State. But, I mean, it's the same thing. How would you match up the other teams ranked 5 to 10? Well, we haven't seen the rankings yet. They only did the top 6 rankings. It's really annoying how they do this, honestly. But if Texas was 11-0 in the SEC, What will you say? Who would Texas will play? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, TCU had a bad year. They kind of got unlucky, but they had a bad year. Everyone on Michigan's offense is not coming back. I don't know about that. A lot of them are leaving for sure. You can't believe Bama is in? Well, I mean, listen, if I was a Michigan fan, I would not be happy. I would not want to face Alabama. You could have gotten FSU. What happens to Jim Harbaugh? Probably suspended deep into the year. 7 or 8 games, I don't know. Ohio State 7, Oregon 8. Yeah, I would agree with that. When is the reveal? Oh, the reveal already happened, but they still got to reveal the rest of the top 25, which I don't know when they'll do. I think it's kind of ridiculous they don't do it all together, but it's the same thing they do every year. Alabama got the benefit of the doubt and the most of the calls. Well, I mean, yeah, but that game was not decided by the refs. That's one of the things that's annoying. People blame the refs. It's just, unless it's like an Ohio State Clemson 2019 disaster, you really can't blame the refs. A.D. Mitchell is a beast. If only Jack Plummer. Louisville is out now. Louisville's not going to make a New Year's Six Bowl. Do you see Tennessee trending upwards? It's hard, man. Being in the SEC, it's very hard. I mean, Tennessee's got a nice young 5-star quarterback. I think they really struggled with Joe Milton. They couldn't throw the ball. They had very limited receivers. They need to get a legit number 1 receiver to go along with their young quarterback. What do you think about Notre Dame? I mean, Notre Dame is doing this thing where they're taking 4 or 5 year transfer. Looks like they're going to get Riley Leonard. I don't know. Can someone give me an update? Are they actually going to get Riley Leonard or no? I heard they were going to get Riley Leonard. They're interesting. They should have beaten Ohio State. When they lost to Ohio State, their season was over. You can't lose to Ohio State when you have a 4th and 19. You had an interception on the last drive against McCord. If Alabama was in the Big 12, how would they do? They'd do very well. They will reveal the top. So 12:30, are you Central Time Zone? So 1:30 Eastern. Who does Tennessee play? We don't know. I can give you a prediction on Tennessee. Possibly Wisconsin. Not a great matchup for them. January 1st, though, New Year's Day, so later in the bowl season. Syracuse bowl prediction. Syracuse, are they 6-6 this year? They're going to be in a pretty bad bowl game. Possibly against Fresno State, First Responder Bowl the day after Christmas. Possibly. Do you think Texas will do good in the SEC? Yeah, they'll be like an 8-4 team. I mean, Texas returns a lot. They're going to be very hyped up next year. Yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. If I'm not seeing your message, that's my bad. Once again, I'm in the wrong bitchy chat thing. That 2019 Clemson game, yeah, I've never seen a game. That was crazy. It's almost like you have to laugh at it. If it really is about the eye test, because, dude, it's a combination. It's some mosh pit combination of best and most deserving combined together. It's a combination. So they're going to do most deserving. That's why FSU is in front of Georgia. But then it's also best. It's always a combination. It's never one or the other. If it was one or the other, Georgia would be in the playoff if it was just based on best. If it was just based on most deserving, then Alabama would be out. So it's a combination. It's always a combination, folks. Are you kidding me? They're not releasing that. Is that true that they're not releasing the actual rankings until 2:30? You want a USC bowl game prediction? We'll take a look at USC. USC possibly again. Wow. How far did Louisville fall? Louisville facing USC in a pick'em game at the Holiday Bowl. That's a nice little logo for the Holiday Bowl. I might have to update my Holiday Bowl logo. Washington makes the championship once they're... What's their chances of winning? It depends who they face. I mean, they have a decent chance, man. It's not like Alabama or Michigan are world beaters. I would not have them favored over either of those teams. Michigan 2 point. Yeah, I saw -2.5 people were saying. Northwestern, you're trolling me, man. You're trolling me. Wait, Northwestern actually made a bowl game, I think. Man, Utah? I can't believe Utah would be facing Northwestern. It's not until 2:30. That's a good prediction on Northwestern. Good call. I like that. Utah sitting minus 10.5. Guys, why do you keep asking if I'm single? I mean, this is just... What is our NFL picks today? I do have a video if you want to see that. But yeah, the NFL games are starting up real soon. What if Texas is a 1 seed? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Jaden Daniels, I saw that. I saw Jaden Daniels is basically a lock to win the Heisman. I don't know. I'm interested to see what people think about Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman. He hasn't won a single good game. Or like look at the actual schedule for LSU. They haven't beaten one good team. But listen, who else are you going to give the Heisman to? Penix? Penix's stats are not good, so I guess I can understand it. 10.5. Dude, I like Northwestern to win that game, brother. I'm a Utah hater. I'm a Utah hater. Yeah, the 1 o'clock games. Here to get an upload. Yes, I am. Breaking news. Are these bowl game predictions? No, these are just predictions. So, the real stuff, this is what we've confirmed. Obviously, these are the matchups. Alabama, Michigan, Washington, Texas. The other thing that's confirmed is Georgia versus Florida State. Those are the 3 games that are confirmed. He's a beast. For Notre Dame, the running back, Evan. Bama versus Texas for the Natty, with Bama winning. Saban 7th Natty. Like your setup and presentation. I have got many more comments than I would have. Northwestern ended strong. Yeah, Northwestern, I was surprised they're even in a bowl game, but then I remembered I had them as one of my most surprising teams. Auburn bowl prediction. Well, let's take a look at Auburn here. Auburn. Is Auburn even... Let me find Auburn. I think I went past him. Did you troll me? Did Auburn go 5-7? Nah, you're trolling me, man. Oh, there they are against Maryland. Yeah, they're sitting -2 against Maryland. That's a pretty good bowl game for Auburn, man. I'm surprised they give them the Music City Bowl. Notre Dame possibly is going to face Kansas State. That's a tough match. Well, actually, Kansas State's quarterback is in the portal. So, and I'm guessing Sam Hartman's going to go try hard. Yeah, Auburn went 6-6. Oh, yeah, Alabama is already in, man. You missed it. You missed it. Texas is probably the most overrated team. Texas is very, listen, it's an arbitrary thing to say that Texas is this great team because they have a win against Alabama on the road when Alabama was starting a quarterback in his second game, and it was very obvious he was making a young quarterback mistakes, and it's very obvious that they're a different team. However, because it is college football and it is the same year, that win is going to keep Texas above other teams like Alabama. So then Texas has to be in the playoff if Alabama beats Georgia. That was the scenario. If Texas faced Utah in the Sugar Bowl, why would they face Utah? LSU best win was Missouri. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Daniel's stats are unreal, but Nick's won big games. Yeah, but then he choked at the end, unfortunately. Most underrated bowl games based off this looks like UNLV Toledo. That's a good game. I think UNLV would win that game. Alabama's the most overrated team. But that's a rivalry game. And then Alabama came back and beat Georgia. It's... What happens if FSU is the only undefeated team? What do you mean? If FSU beats Georgia, you're talking about? FSU will claim a national title if they go undefeated. But it's going to be very hard for them to beat Georgia. Yeah, Air Force. Remember Air Force, they kind of rage quit on the season. James Madison, oh, we got my Air Force team matched up against the annoying James Madison team. But didn't James Madison's coach already leave? Thank God Florida State's not in. I know, I released a video this morning talking about it, and people, they thought that Florida State was going to get in. We got Group of 5 New Year's 6 bowl game. It's going to be Liberty, it looks like. Liberty versus Penn State. It's a rivalry game. I mean, it was... Listen, I'll give Alabama the benefit of the doubt. I'll give Alabama the benefit of the doubt and let them in. I'm so glad Oklahoma State got humbled by Texas. I mean, didn't Oklahoma State also get humbled by South Alabama, UCF? I mean, that's not a very good team, let's be honest. But yeah, Ollie Gordon was being very obnoxious on the sideline, you're right. Where is Oregon's bowl? Oregon, we're not sure yet. They're going to be in a New Year's 6 game for sure. That's not a great matchup. If you're Oregon, you would much rather face Penn State. You would much rather face Ohio State. You don't want to face Missouri if you're Oregon. Yeah, these are mostly predictions outside of 3 games. The real stuff apparently doesn't come out until 2:30 Eastern time. No excuse, barely beat. I mean, yeah, but they're going to let Alabama in. You have to give Alabama the benefit of the doubt based on their pedigree. I mean, Bama's a behemoth, and FSU's a pipsqueak. And FSU just got ran over. The big boy train is coming. Nick Saban, daddy's coming. What if Texas was in the Mountain West with Oklahoma? Oh, I'd imagine they'd do very well. Georgia has some recent major injuries over the past few weeks. I mean, yeah, you could say the same thing about Ohio State having injuries. I mean, every team has injuries. Look at FSU. Every team has injuries. You can't just use that as an excuse. Unless Carson Beck was out, then I would be like, okay, you know, that's a big injury. West Virginia, yeah, they went 8-4. That's a good pick. Let's see where West Virginia could be going. A&M in the Texas Bowl 2 days after Christmas. Iowa Bowl prediction. Iowa 13.5-point underdogs New Year's Day in the Citrus Bowl. Oregon State should not be ranked. No, I mean that's a bit annoying. You know, come on. Oregon State's lost enough already. Oregon State they have both of their arms cut off. They lost their quarterback to the portal. They lost their head coach. They lost their conference. It's kind of, you know, it is what it is. USC bowl prediction. I think I already saw them. Yeah, Louisville. Man, has Louisville fallen. Louisville's fallen hard. They were going to make a New Year's 6 bowl. Holiday Bowl. Can you say why TCU got in last year when they lost the Big 12 championship, but Georgia didn't make it? Well, it's a completely different year. It's completely different data. I mean, you could say the same thing about Ohio State. Think about this for a second. Ohio State last year gets blown out at home to Michigan. They make it. They get blown out. This year, they barely lose to Michigan while outgaining them, and they miss it. This year, there's just more highly ranked teams. There's more congestion. It's a different year. That's why. New Mexico played in a conference title game and crushed Auburn. Yeah, New Mexico State's pretty good. I agree. Give me Rutgers versus UNC. That'll be an interesting game. Yeah, UNC is not going to be playing Drake. Drake May is going to opt out of that game. Who do you think wins the Duke Mayo Bowl? I don't know who it is yet. These are not guaranteed predictions, you know? Old Dominion. Well, Old Dominion's probably towards the bottom in these. Old Dominion. Wow, the second bowl game of the year against Western Kentucky. Ohio State overrated? It's kind of impossible for Ohio State to be overrated. They're ranked 7th and they have the number 2 FPI and they have a top 3 strength of schedule. How is that overrated? I love how Colorado has the biggest reality check. Yeah, what a circus that was. But I mean, we could see it coming. I thought they would still finish 6-6 though. You love this playoff. It's a good matchups. It's very good matchups. I know, that's the thing. Michigan does have a harder game 1. That's why Michigan's got to be pissed off. They're a better seed than Washington, and they have a harder matchup. Is New Mexico State going to be in a bowl game? Yeah, they're going to be facing Wyoming possibly in the New Mexico Bowl. So they'll get a home game. They'll get a home game. The Tennessee Titans scored. Oh man. Oh, the NFL game started. Yeah, I should probably watch those. Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, USC, Notre Dame, Oregon. Well, I mean, you just said half of the top 10. I don't know. You're saying everyone's overrated. I don't know what is the worst bowl to be in? Probably the New Orleans Bowl. No. The Quick Lane Bowl. The Quick Lane Bowl. Or the Birmingham Bowl. Yeah, probably the Birmingham Bowl. Texas Bowl prediction. As in like the actual Texas Bowl. I think it's somewhere around here. A&M versus West Virginia. I don't like Michigan, but I also don't like Bama. Well, so you're in a lose-lose situation. You're not watching? Well, these are good games. They're going to have really good ratings whether you watch or not. Derrick Henry had a rushing touchdown. Derrick Henry seems like he's washed at this point, but good for him. Who was in the Pop-Tart Bowl? The Pop-Tart Bowl, Notre Dame versus Kansas State, possibly. Eagles, Niners. Oh, did you see that? It's supposed to rain in that game. Yeah, I have the 49ers winning 24-13. Who the heck picked? I mean, they're not. The names are not picked. They're sponsored. Miami of Ohio got kind of screwed. It's a trashy bowl. Well, yeah, I mean, what do you expect? It's a MAC team, though. You know, they're not going to be in a great bowl. FSU deserves that spot. Yeah, FSU needed a better game in their conference championship. They didn't have it. They barely gained 200 yards. That's what happens. Move it or lose it. You're from Peru. I think you were on last. I thought I talked to you last week or something. There is no mac and cheese bowl, brother. Ohio State would easily get beaten by Missouri. Oh, my friend, no. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Ohio State would bury Missouri. Fenway Bowl seems kind of trashy. Yeah, it is. It's a crappy bowl that starts at 11 a.m. that nobody wants to go to. Way too early spread, Alabama, Michigan. Michigan minus 2.5. I would expect it to get bet down. It'll probably be a pick'em. There's going to be money coming in on Alabama, I would guess. It's based off of Harbaugh's bowl game track record. Where can I watch that? Wait, did they actually show Michigan's team reaction when they had to face Alabama, or are you just trolling? That's a great question. The best bowl game logo. You know, the Holiday Bowl has I like this logo. I like the Holiday Bowl. I like the little snowflakes. I can't lie. You're in Peru now, but you were talking about New York, Long Island. Yeah, I remember you. Send FSU to a game against Iowa. Yeah, the over-under 19.5. Way too early spread, Ohio State versus Oklahoma. That's not even an official game yet. but I believe Ohio State would be around a touchdown favorite, and then Marv opts out. It'll probably drop down to like 6, but that game's not even confirmed yet. It's on Twitter. You need to check out these NFL games. Dude, you know the one thing about the NFL, the 1 o'clock games have sucked recently. Who is in the Cheez-It Bowl? We don't know yet. It's not confirmed. Yeah, Michigan minus 2.5. I mean, that's a fair spread, I agree, but I just think money's going to be on Alabama. The Bahamas Bowl, I think they changed it to a bowl in Hawaii, but I don't know. Michigan got terrified. Oh, that's hilarious. SMU is most likely in the Fenway Bowl. Yeah, that is a terrible fall for SMU. You're right. Because they lost their quarterback. If Texas played Texas A&M, how would it go? I think Texas would win. What's my prediction on the Cheez-It Bowl? I have no clue, man. Georgia fell to Alabama in the SEC championship to become the first team to go from number 1. Yeah, I know, dude. It's all... Georgia should be in, but this is the 4-team bullshit. I'm about to make a video on how ridiculous the 4-team playoff is. It's just... It's lunacy. Liberty University Peach Bowl. Yeah, because a group of 5 team has to make it. Wait, are they seriously going to the Peach Bowl? Wow. What a bad matchup. It's not even so they were looking to boot Georgia. It's just the way the playoff sets up, unfortunately. Washington and Texas do not belong. Well, I mean, Washington is undefeated, brother. How are you, and they still have their starting quarterback. They don't have a big injury. They have a crazy good resume. They won a pretty tough conference. I don't know how you can leave Washington out. I can understand leaving I can understand leaving FSU out. Ohio State, Oklahoma is so lame. Well, I mean... they're all meaningless games outside of the 2 playoff games. It is what it is. I don't know. There will still be arguments in the 12 team. Oh, yeah, there's going to be arguments, but the teams are going to be a lot lower. Like, Georgia's going to be in. Ohio State's going to be in. An undefeated FSU would be in. The arguments would be with, teams that on the borderline, like a Missouri, like an Ole Miss. Those would be the arguments. Teams are rewarded by losing early. You're right. It's ridiculous. I mean, imagine Ohio State lost to Michigan in week 1 and then won every game. Are they really out? It's lunacy. It's kind of a coincidence this year that a lot of teams had a chance to make the playoffs, and next year it's going to get changed. Yeah. I mean, this would have been a year to have it for sure. I mean, it's a coincidence that a freaking team goes 13-0 in a Power 5 conference and doesn't make it, which I said should happen, but I think the whole thing is just ridiculous. Should playoff expansion have a bye week? Does it have a bye week or not? Actually, I don't think it will, because they have to fit in. Maybe it has 1 bye week. 99% of the money is on Bama? Really? Did the line move already? I mean, that might be a wrong figure. I don't know about 99%. You bet the under in Chargers Pats. That's a horrible game. Alabama had 1 loss. Georgia had 1 loss, and Georgia lost to Alabama, but Alabama lost to a lesser opponent. Yeah, but Alabama has the Trump head-to-head tiebreaker and the conference championship. The Lions just got an interception. USC and UCLA suck. Yeah, UCLA had a really bad finish there. UCLA just lost their young superstar quarterback too. It's this day and age. Did the committee get it right? I do think they got it right, yes. Michigan does better as underdogs. That's all arbitrary, man. It doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Whether they're 1 point favorite, 1 point underdog, it's ridiculous. You think that's going to change the outcome? The number one team gets a bye. Yeah, no, the top 4 teams get a bye. Yeah, I like that setup. That's a good setup. Saints are already down 14-0. Yeah, the Lions were going to bounce back from that Thanksgiving game, you know. We knew the Lions were going to bounce back. I mean, I can just take a quick look under the hood at some of these games really quickly and just... I mean, this game is crap. The Texans, I mean... Wow, it's already 7-7 in the Colts-Titans game. Dolphins, Commanders, I heard this game was a monsoon. Dolphins just scored from their own 22. Wow. Yeah, Jalen Milroe's a load to deal with. Who you got winning the Natty? I'll have to take a look at the analytics on it. What if Texas played Western Kentucky? Well, I think it would be a blowout victory for Texas. The New Year's Six Bowls, I think they're not going to get announced until 2:30. Michigan scared to play Bama. I mean, were they seriously? Imagine this scenario next year. Everyone will be debating who should get the... Yeah, I mean, people will be debating who gets the bye, but that's a much better than this, leaving teams out of the national title picture completely. How long is this... Yeah, I'm going to have to end it off because it's just... I'm not waiting until 2:30. That's ridiculous. But I'll make a video or something. Kellen Moore to Boise State. Dude, I like Boise State a lot. I'd love to see Boise State become a powerhouse. They looked good towards the end of the year. Over under for Bama Michigan game. I like the over. 45.5 is pretty low to me for college. I don't know. If Michigan can get the run game, they can beat Bama. Yeah, I mean, Bama is not an indestructible team. They can absolutely be beaten by Michigan. Yeah, the Natty still being on a Monday. Notre Dame is underrated. Yeah, the problem is they lost to Louisville. That's the problem with Notre Dame. The number one seed... Yeah, I mean, they choose where they play, but they don't choose their opponent. It was bet down from 46.5 to 45.5. Wow. That's interesting line movement, to be honest. I would say it would go early. Go over that. You love James Madison's basketball team. They're going to be 28-3. Who's a mid-major that I like? I don't even... I'd have to look at all the mid-majors, honestly. Normally, you know, there's always a mid-major that does very well. Yeah, James Madison I saw was ranked. Yeah, I think the right bet on that game is the over. Dude, if you're going to complain about the refs, nobody's trying to hear it. If you're going to act like a 13-year-old girl, go to a different thread. Go to a different stream. Liberty or SMU, be honest. I mean, if SMU had their starting quarterback, I've always said I like SMU. What if Texas played Michigan State? Well, I think it would be a blowout win for Texas. You're asking some weird hypotheticals, man. I haven't even looked at the TV. I don't think it's... I think it's going to be a while. I mean, dude, these people, like, these are, like, grown men in my stream complaining. Dude, like, you got to get a grasp on life, brother. You know, you're complaining. It doesn't matter. It's meaningless. You lost. Go home. You didn't lose because of the refs. Just get over it. There's more important things. You're taking the over. Well, what's the other over under? Oregon lost twice. How are they still there? They're out. They're not in the playoff. Why do you have so little faith in Washington? Well, if you look at analytically, Washington is a flawed team. Yeah, I agree. Washington is overrated. I've said that for a while now. I think Oregon is still better than Washington. It's sad that the best teams. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, those are the best teams. But they're not in. The over under in that game is 64. That's a bit high. See, that's a little. But I mean, the thing is, Washington has actually played some lower scoring games recently. Dude, I mean, people that complain about the refs, it's just, unless it's an Ohio State Clemson 2019 game, I don't want to hear it. But if it's an Ohio State Clemson 2019 level, then I'll understand the complaining. Bama, Michigan, I don't think it's a pick 'em. I mean, it says pick 'em here. I thought it was released. Michigan -2.5. Could be like TCU Michigan game last year. Yeah, that was, what was that, 51-45? My heart breaks for the talented FSU. Oh, they took it off. I was going to read a quote. They have a quote up there from someone, maybe the athletic director of FSU or Mike Norvell. Oregon might be better than Washington. Yeah, I know. I agree. I think Oregon's just better than Washington. I know Washington beat them twice, but I still think Oregon is better. And I think most people agree with me. Yeah, but Keith, you have to understand, you're giving me a 2-game sample. It's a very small sample. Now, you could have a point and say they don't match up well because maybe Oregon has a weak defense, weak secondary, but it's tough for me, man, with Washington. Oregon is a better team than Washington, and everyone agrees. I'd like to see Oregon. I mean, if we're talking about the best teams, I think Oregon's better than Washington. Michigan's now -1.5, so it got bet down already. Yeah, people are all over betting, dude. They're probably throwing $1,000 on Alabama +2.5. But I mean, it's basically a pick 'em. 2.5 is nothing. They still haven't released where everyone is going. They're not going to release it for an hour. Iowa versus Kent State would be fire. Yeah, Kent State's not getting in. Did Liberty make a New Year 6? We don't know. They haven't released it. But I would imagine they would. It's either Liberty or SMU. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Oregon is better, but you have to put Washington in front of them at this point. Yeah, Washington just kind of, they have Oregon's number. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I'm sure you're a Michigan fan, man. With an Alabama, you got to change that if you actually want to try and troll, man. Come on. I am not trying to complain, but how did TCU get in last year over Bama when FSU and TCU from last year? It's just a different set of circumstances, I would say. Where's the ranking video? There are no rankings. I mean, it's just the top 6 right now. Army, Navy over under 28.5. That game always goes under. But it's been bet down. It was at 30.5, I think. Michigan 24-17. That seems a little low to me. Seems a little low scoring. What if there was a bowl game of SMU versus Liberty? It's not possible. Because one of them has to make a group to be the group of 5 representative. Yeah, I mean, I think Liberty will get in. No, no, no. SMU is not in the ACC this year. They're still considered Group of Five right now. No, I'm not watching the NFL games right now. But I'm going to turn this off and watch them probably. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 21-0. Jesus, man. Why is FSU not in because of the Travis injury? Yeah, they would be in if he wasn't injured. They would be in. It opened 32. Man, that's great value if you got the under 32.5. Yeah, the bowl game predictions. It'll be a two-parter tomorrow. Without Travis, their offense is bad. Oh, absolutely. Texas versus A&M. Or TCU versus A&M. Dude, TCU is 4-8, brother. They're not making a bowl. Yeah, FSU didn't make it because of an injury. Michigan 31-17. I find that unlikely. It'll be a close game. Well, Penn State had 2 losses in 2016. That's a different story. Why is YouTube auto deleting your comments? Brother, if you're making threats about referees, it might be time to go outside. Florida State's defense is elite. They have a good defense. I mean, they're also in a bad conference. You commend me? Yeah, I mean, people are, it's the internet, man. You know, it is what it is. Anyone can comment. Ohio State won a national title with a third string QB. Yeah, dude, they also won 59-0 before they were put in the playoff. They had 59 points on offense with a third string quarterback, and that catapulted them into the playoff. FSU can barely get 200 yards of offense. That's the difference. You can't compare Ohio State's third string situation to FSU's. It's completely different. Why would it be similar when FSU can barely, do anything on offense as opposed to Ohio State beating a ranked Wisconsin team? You have to use critical thinking. I'm taking the Packers plus 6.5. That'll be a good game, man. I heard it was going to snow there. That's nice, But they got that whole charade with Travis Kelce. The NFC South. Oh, the NFC South has been bad for a while. Liberty Bowl game, possibly against Penn State in a New Year's Six Peach Bowl. Oregon versus Ohio. That is a possibility. FSU went to overtime with Clemson. Oh, yeah, dude. FSU should have lost to Clemson straight up. FSU was severely outplayed that game. Severely. I know. That has to be the game. Florida State versus Georgia, it has to be the game based on the tie-ins and the how high teams are ranked. How much leeway does the college football playoff have when choosing the teams for the other bowls? I mean, they rank the top 25, and then it depends on the tie-ins. Penn State beat Ohio State head-to-head and won the Big Ten, and the committee chose OSU because they were considered... Well, it's not really subjective when you think about... So you're lacking nuance. The problem is, if you actually go back to that Ohio State-Penn State game, it was a very fluky game. Ohio State had a better record than Penn State. So they were 11-1. Penn State was 11-2. Penn State had one extra loss. It's very hard to reward a team that has an extra loss, especially in college football. But there's just no nuance with these people and what they're talking about. There's just no ability to expand a thought. Your prediction on Ohio State in a bowl game, well, I mean, it's going to be either Oregon or maybe Oklahoma. But I think it might be Oregon, honestly. This thing has Oklahoma. Imagine it's Missouri. Oh my God. The fact that Oregon was going to be 1-point favorites against Michigan, were they seriously? That's interesting. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, Oregon is loved by Vegas. Is there a Twin Tower video today? You know what, Matthew? There might be one later. I don't know yet. It depends. I'm trying to get this rendering from someone. I've been emailing. We'll have to see. People crying on Twitter about FSU. I mean, yeah, but you have to understand they do have they do have the right to be pissed off. They certainly, the committee made the right choice, but they're going to be angry because they went undefeated. The whole point of the Penn State thing shows the flaw. Yeah, I think the 4-team playoff is flawed. I mean, dude, if an undefeated, Power 5 team doesn't make it, Washington is the luckiest team. No, I agree with you, and I've gotten a lot of hate for my Washington comments. If Oregon lost 40 times to Washington, that's the whole idea though behind it. If Oregon actually faced Washington 40 times, I think Oregon would probably win 30. Now if Washington beat them 40 times, then yes, I would say Washington was better at that point. Who is your Heisman prediction? I don't think it really matters. Apparently Jaden Daniels is a massive favorite. Jaden Daniels hasn't beaten a soul. I don't think he should win it, but it is what it is. There's really no other choice. Penix has really slowed down in terms of his stats. Air Force versus James Madison. Is that confirmed? James Madison without their head coach. Penn State versus Liberty. Yeah, people seem to be trying to make fun of Penn State, it seems like. I don't know. You got to feel bad. Washington, FSU, hands down. Yeah, I mean, but Washington was always going to be make it if they go undefeated. I mean, feeling bad is a strange thing with when Georgia's won the last 2 national titles, but certainly Georgia got screwed. I agree. How many rushing yards does Daniels have? I think 1,100. Georgia versus UNLV. Yeah, the UNLV is the Group of 5 representative. Air Force rage quit the season. Dudes crying on social media about FSU. Yeah, I would just ignore it, man. You know people are going to... But it's just outrage. It's outrage corn, Penn State doesn't deserve a New Year's 6. I mean, I think they do. I think you got to... Because think about it, the Big Ten East is a behemoth of a division. The Big Ten East is really good. Georgia versus SMU. That's not going to happen. Michigan versus Washington national title. I mean, it is possible. Virginia Tech. Yeah, I like Virginia Tech. That's actually a good... I really like the way Virginia Tech has come on in the second half of the year. They're going to be in a bad bowl, though. Did I miss them? Oh, did they finish... Oh, there they are. Man, against Tulane. How about that? They're favorites over Tulane. Georgia, Ohio State. I don't think so. No, and Georgia is facing Florida State in a meaningless bowl game. It's already been confirmed. Penn State is the 4th best. Stop. You're disrespecting Penn State. Excuse me. North Carolina versus Rutgers. Yeah, what a brutal game that would be. North Carolina without Drake May. Does Washington... Come on. Yeah, but, I mean, Washington, I guess, has won 3 times in a row, but last year is kind of... You can't really include last year, man. Where is LSU? LSU will be in a pretty good bowl game. I mean, not a New Year's 6 game, but they'll be facing maybe NC State. USC playing in the holiday. When does the top 25 come out? I think in an hour, unfortunately. Ohio State does not deserve to play Georgia. Well, it's not about that. It's about, oh my God. We got Amazon people. The top 25 comes out in an hour. SMU got robbed from what? We haven't even seen the rankings yet, but it looks like they're going to be left out of the New Year Six. Their offense is just terrible. No, man. Dude, Penn State has a really good defense. They're a solid team. They're a top 10 team. These are not official now. Do a video about old bowl games that don't exist. I did a video on that, I think. Didn't Rutgers play in? Yeah, I mean, you can play in a bowl game if you're 5-6. It depends if there's not enough 6-win teams. Some say they didn't deserve to play UGA last year. Ohio State had them. Yeah, I know. That was a crazy game. Penn State versus Notre Dame. Yeah, but the AP Top 25 doesn't matter. Penn State, Notre Dame. Penn State's going to be in a better bowl than that, though. You know Washington deserves to be in the playoff, but do you think Oregon is better? That's why I asked you if you thought they deserved to be in the playoff. Oh, yeah, I mean, Washington deserves to be in the playoff. I can't see how you can leave them out. I think they could put Clemson against Georgia or Ohio State in the Orange Bowl. No, they can't. They can't do that. That's not. No. The Orange Bowl is already decided. The Orange Bowl is going to be Georgia versus Florida State. It's based on tie-ins. It cannot be Big Ten versus SEC. It's not possible. You didn't pay attention to TCU, but how are they so worse? Very interesting with TCU. They had very bad luck this year. They're really analytically still a top 30 team. Notre Dame deserves a New Year's Six bowl. No, they're not. They have 3 losses, and obviously they don't have a conference championship or anything like that. They're not going to make it. What time will the Peach Bowl be announced? Maybe in an hour. Do a video on bowl games on random channels. What do you mean by that? You mean like random bowl games? Maybe. I like doing videos like that. Rutgers only playing in a bowl game. Yeah, COVID really went crazy with how that changed things and stuff. Oh, there's a safety in that game. Is it 2-0? Oh my, dude, this is amazing. 2-0. Look at this game. Yeah, the under. This is a crap matchup. Texans over the Broncos. That's a good call on the safety. Why are there tie-ins? I don't know. It's dumb, dude. I agree. I think it's whatever. Contracts with teams and stuff. Like the Orange Bowl has to only take teams from certain conferences. Notre Dame's not horrible. Certainly they're not horrible. They've got a great rushing offense. I think Michigan never will lose this season. So you think they're going to win the national title? I want to see this. See what happened in this game. It wasn't even. Nico Collins had a long gain. I thought C.J. Stroud would have thrown a touchdown there. Looking for a touchdown. I thought this game it just unupdated on me. It unupdated. Dude, this thing's a joke. The Dolphins are already up 10-0. It hurts being a Bengals and Bulldogs fan. Yeah, the Bengals, man, they got killed with an injury. If Saban beats Harbaugh, it proves he never cheated. That's not how it works. I think Michigan has a chance. Oh, I mean they opened as favorites. Kent State versus Nevada. Kent State versus Nevada in in Detroit, Michigan. Well, I mean, I guess could be at Ford Field, but that'd be funny. Yeah. They need to make a Memorial Bowl in one of the Memorial Stadiums. That would be interesting. I know ESPN's thing is so messed up, man. I can't believe they can't correct that in 2023 to have just perfect updated stuff, but they just can't do it. FSU's offenses look bad because they're dealing with a third stringer. Imagine if Michigan gets banned from the playoff. It would have already happened. It's not going to happen now. They're not going to ban Michigan from the playoff now. Yeah, I think most people are watching these NFL games, honestly, and I don't blame them. But these games, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, CJ Stroud is really good. All right, guys. Wow, look at this. 17-0 in the first quarter. 21-0. Now we have high-scoring games. ESPN's website is terrible and unusable. I wouldn't say that. Have you ever... I mean, I can use it on mobile a lot better than desktop. I use it on mobile, like on my iPhone. The scores, I think the scores are formatted really well. But in terms of me actually seeing real-time updates... I mean, have you seen the glitch where it says it's 3rd and 65 and stuff? It always does that with college games. It's just they still have crazy glitches. It doesn't input the correct data. Florida State versus Iowa. Yeah, there's no way. Florida State's going to be in a better bowl than that, though. Michigan -1 now. Yeah, but then we'll probably see more money start coming in on Michigan. YouTube Studio reveal. If I showed you my YouTube Studio, it would say I still have a warning for inappropriate content that expires on January 6th. It's hilarious. I didn't even know how to get it off, and then I had to fill out this form. And now it's oh, it'll expire in 3 months, and apparently that's when it expires. What has been the college football game of the year? Colorado State. That was a good game. People will say, well, Georgia, Alabama. Dude, this game is going to end 5-3. It's going to end 5-3 for sure. That's a coincidence. College football is much more exciting. Yeah, I agree. But last night, did you see... Dude, the games last night were really bad. I mean, it was real bad. You live in Ohio, and you don't even get to watch Eagles 49ers game. Yeah, I live in Ohio. I think I get to watch the Browns game because they're on at 4:25. I sound like an AI robot. Dude, I don't think I sound like that, but it's hard to know what your voice sounds like. Thank you for that, Dwayne. I know this is off topic. I'm very interested in what happened to Oregon State and Washington State. Will they join the Mountain West or possibly the WAC dissolve and the Mountain West? Well, right now they're playing, I think, 6 different, maybe even more than that. They're playing each other next year, and they're playing a bunch of the Mountain West teams. Technically, they're not in the Mountain West Conference. It's basically a bridge year. Basically, what'll happen is it'll be a bridge year, and then I think they'll just join the Mountain West. Because how could you try and... Right now, they're still trying to do that thing where it's the Pac-12 is still alive because they want all the money. They want revenue sharing from the playoff, and that ends in 2025. So they're trying to say, the Pac-12 is still alive. We're going to add teams to recreate the Pac-12, which just cannot happen. It's ridiculous. You can't have that many teams leave a conference and then it still be considered. I think they're just going to have to join the Mountain West. There's 43 bowl games. I saw the FSU game was so boring. Oh, yeah, the FSU game was terrible. The Michigan game was terrible. Is there one... You know what? we might be able to check this if they actually update it in real time. I don't know if they will, but we'll take a look to see the bowl schedule because they might update it. Oh, it's glitched. Great. I'm gonna have to go to this. Yeah, this is what kept happening. Yeah, so Coastal Carolina versus San Jose State at 10:30. That's a bowl game. Oh, that's actually at the Chain Complex. And then, yeah, and then they just have they don't have anything updated. But I don't even think anything is out yet. What is the bowl game matchups? They're not released. They're not released yet. Did you put ads on this live stream? I put ads every 24 minutes. That's what it is. It's the same every live stream. I didn't put it. I didn't maneuver the ads at all. I normally just leave it the same as is. I think the Pac-12 will do 2 bridge years. Then the Mountain West media deal expires. Yeah, I agree. That's what it's called. It's bridge years. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to make it to 2:30. This is ridiculous, man. How is this format even a thing? What is the purpose of waiting 2.5 hours to release the other stuff? I have to like sit here and just play with my dick and do nothing. I don't understand the logic behind waiting for the NFL games to start and then releasing it smack dab in the middle of the 1 o'clock NFL games. You go to Coastal Carolina. Well, Coastal Carolina, I think they're probably going to lose. Grayson McCall entered the transfer portal. You just woke up. What are you on the West Coast? I mean, even that's still pretty crazy. You're waking up at 10. Yeah, it's a necessary evil, man. I get pissed off at ads as well. $1K for 1 ticket to the Natty. What a ripoff that is, man. I'm sorry. There's no way I'm investing $1,000 in a 3-hour game. Come on. I could buy a shitty altcoin. You need to talk business over lunch. What does that mean? Just go live again at 2:30? I don't know, man. I might want to make videos instead, It's probably more financially prudent just to make videos instead of doing lives. Ohio State wouldn't have been included. What are you talking about? Yeah, I know you, Matt. You're a troll, big boy. Do you watch NFL? No, I watch more college football. I mean, it's impossible to... There's just way more college football to take in than NFL. There's way more games. Bama plus 2.5. I heard it was already changed. I mean, I could look it up if you really, They normally update the lines. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I mean, look at this. It's at 1. Michigan -1 right now. Go live again at 2:15. I mean, that's literally in 25 minutes. It seems, Yeah, I mean, but I just don't want to keep... if I keep going live, I feel like people will get pissed off. It's just like they don't want to be spammed with notifications about me going live every 30 minutes. I go to Liberty, and I was mad to see they didn't put out the whole rankings. Yeah, I know. It is annoying. I mean, they have the odds right now. They're saying Michigan is -2. Those are not updated. But, I mean, it's close. I wonder if Bama will become the favorite. That'll be interesting. Some streamers go 24 hours. Yeah, that's strange to me. I mean, they play games, though. They don't interact with chat the whole time. All I do is just interact with chat. That's basically it. So, I mean, I'm thinking of, trying to get a nice monitor or something, I want to play Lego Star Wars. I wonder if they have a or Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, -1 is basically a pick'em. It's a pick'em. That's what it is. Your family is going to Alabama, Michigan. Well, that's a great experience. It does say tickets as low as $298, but they're probably terrible. Louisville. Yeah, you're trolling again. Uh, Bama Washington parlay. I don't know about Washington, man. Bulls are not up, man. They're not up. How long until the ACC implodes? That's a good question. It's not going to be long. I got to check some stuff, though. So, Wesson, what's up? DG, do you think the ACC will blow up? The ACC, I think they will. I think it just depends on the situation surrounding if they can get out of the horrible grant of rights, which I think they will. I think they will end up getting out of it. So, listen, it's all based on money. There's no way they're going to accept that deal. So the entire structure of the ACC TV contract is going to have to be redone, or they're going to blow up the conference. And the conference is going to be like a middling. I mean, maybe the ACC tries to keep it together because they got Stanford now and Cal, and they might come to become like a middling mid-major conference by keeping Boston College and some of the lower teams, but all of the upper teams are gone. They put Notre Dame out of. I mean, dude, honestly, I understand you'd be angry about that because of the head-to-head. I'd understand, but I thought I gave you a shout out last night, Mr. Pineapple. Remember? All right, well, makes no sense for the ACC to blow up with expansion. Oh, absolutely. It's based on money. The expansion doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. The teams don't care about expansion or I mean, listen, if teams actually cared about on-field success, like getting in through an expanded playoff, why would Oregon join the Big Ten? It's a much harder conference. It doesn't matter. They don't care. It's going to be harder for all those teams that are joining. Like, look at Oklahoma and Texas. They're making their path infinitely harder. It doesn't matter. It's based off of money. I know the other bowl game is FSU versus Georgia. It has to be that. Your chats aren't appearing? Well, it's in live chat, so they should be appearing. Just announced the rest of the... I know, it's ridiculous. Texas will get ran through. Yeah, I'm not that high on Texas, honestly, but I'm not that high on Washington either. It'll be a strange matchup. Washington is a streaky team. Oh, they got Heather Dinich on. The glow up. The glow up. Ohio State is probably facing Oklahoma or Oregon. I'm just going to look at the actual NFL scores one last time. Let me just look at this update. I mean, look at this 0-0. Chargers are driving. This game is crap. Texans up 13-0. Jets up 2-0. These games are terrible, man. All right, I am gonna. We'll see what the rankings are. I think I'm just gonna make some videos, honestly. Yeah, I feel bad as well. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate what happened to FSU. There's no doubt about it. That's why the playoff needs to be expanded. It'll be better for the sport overall. I'm gonna get off though, guys. Oh, the Commanders are about to score.